Hey guys, welcome to another review. This review is about the Canon M2, but I'm not going to do a typical unboxing video because there's plenty of those out there already that you can choose from to see what's in the box, etc. So if you want those type of videos, you can go ahead and look online, watch them, and then come back to this video when you're ready. But what we got here going on today is we have the Canon M2 paired with the Sony RX 100 Mark VII. What we're going to do is see if this setup here versus the Osmo mobile pocket is worth it. Everyone expects the Sony RX 100 Mark VII with the Canon M2 to be a complete better video package versus the Osmo mobile pocket. But the convenience of the pocket, the price of the pocket is what you need to consider. So what we're going to do here in a second is I'm going to walk around my yard with both of these setups. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. I'm going to take the ND filters off of both of them. Well, I don't have an ND filter yet for the Sony, but I'll take it off the Osmo. We'll put it on pretty much auto settings, since I can't put it on aperture priority for the Osmo. We'll see if you can tell which one is which. Alright, let's get started. Alright, let's get into the Canon M2, so let's focus our attention on that. I'm going to go over a couple of things in the market for this gimbal, what you need to be aware about. Let's talk about the compatibility list. I'll put it up right now where you can see the list. But this is a gimbal that can be used for your iPhone, for your GoPro, and for some smaller style cameras. So your point and shoots, and then some of the APS-C cameras. The ones they have listed for Sony that I'm familiar with is the 5100, the 6000, the 6300, 6400, 6500. Now, there's ones that are missing that are out there that just can release the 6100 and the 6600, which I assume and hope that they update their firmware soon to incorporate that camera. For that being said, it's missing the RX 100 Mark 7, so I cannot connect the phone to the gimbal to get the record button and the zoom feature to work. Some of the other ones from Panasonic, you can see there. I'm not familiar with Panasonic too much, so if you're into that, there you go. The Canon M50. I saw one video of a guy actually put the A7 III, which is what I'm filming with right now, on there, and he pretty much said that it was too much, too heavy for it. It held it up for a little while, but it was kind of shaky, so I wouldn't go that route. The GoPros work up to GoPro Hero 7. What's not listed on here is the DJI Action, which I do have, and cannot connect to this device yet. So they are missing some cameras out there. So if you have those type of cameras, make sure you check the compatibility list before you decide to buy this gimbal. All right, smartphone wise, using your smartphone with the device probably gives you the most functionality when it comes to features, if that's what you're really into. But if you're buying this just for your smartphone, there are other options out there. There's DJI has a new Mobile 3, which is a collapsible style of gimbal, probably easier to take with you. So if you're really into the iPhone or the Samsung type of phones that you want to use their cameras for their video, which they just released today, the iPhone 11 Pro, which seems to have an awesome video camera on it. Right. So that being said, yes, you can go for the cheaper route and get the mobile phone style gimbals, but this kind of gives you, the Crane M2 kind of gives you a little bit of future proofing, as they say. So if you decide later on that you want to get use it with your bigger camera, you can do that. If you decide to get a point and shoot, the RX 100 or one of the Sony 6100, 6400, etc., and you want to pair it with a small lens and use that, then you kind of save yourself some money there by having a cell phone gimbal and a small point and shoot gimbal. So let's go over some of the modes. Pan and follow. As you pan, it will follow your movements. Used a lot as you walk around, you want to film something, you pan nice and smooth turns. This is what you're doing here. That's pan follow. Follow mode, the roll axis motor is locked while the camera pans until it's following the movement of the stabilized handle. So if I pull the trigger here and hold it down, it goes into follow mode. So as I turn the gimbal, it will follow. So follow mode, you hold the trigger down, and then once you let it go, it goes back to the previous mode. Next up, lock mode. This is the one that's good if you're running. So if you're running or walking, it keeps the camera nice and stable as you do your movements. Try to keep it nice and flat as you walk or run. So next up is Vortex. Vortex is a cool feature. Gives you cool kind of B-roll, different kind of shots. You have the spin around barrel roll up top to the sky, or which one I would use more often is you're walking straight forward and you want to do a barrel roll toward your subject. Gives you a cool effect. And I do recommend removing the strap when you put it on the gimbal. Alright, POV mode gives you like a free floating type of feel. The gimbal will move up and down, left and right. All three axes are synchronized following the movement of the stabilized handle. Not really my favorite modes. It's more of a cinematic type of feel, moving around left and right, circling someone. to get a different feel, kind of floating around like you're floating around someone. The Go mode, I will use this one more often. My girl plays soccer. I'm trying to film her on the field, just does quick pans. So it's kind of like the pan follow mode, but you can move quicker and it'll catch back up faster. They're going down the field and you'll whip it, and you'll whip it left, or whip it right, whip it left, and it catches up quick. So let's go into the menu, motor. I have it set to medium for this camera. My suggestion would be low is like for your cell phone or an action camera, medium is like for a point and shoot like this, and high would be more for your APS-C camera, your Sony 6000, 6100, etc., or your Canon M50. So locking feature. I'll show a picture of that here. This allows you the ability to lock up your gimbal, and let's say you're filming and then you want to move to the next spot and you want to lock it up real quick and go on to the next feature. Let's see if I can do this right now. So what you want to do is first power it down. Alright. There's a little pin that locks this thing up. Now I would do say, if you're going to have this, let me zoom out, make sure you remove this. I keep it on here because I'm one of these people that actually use this when I take pictures or walk around with this thing, because it's a very expensive camera and I do not want to drop it. Alright, so what you want to do here is grab the camera up here, kind of get it flat right here, because there's a pin right at the bottom, and once you put it on this platform here, the pin pops up. It's easier if it's already set in place. Then we get it to rest. The pin should pop up, and then push down a little bit and give this a tighten. If that tightens down, this is locked up there. Last thing you do is, there's a red button on the side here that locks this part into, just hit it, turn it, and it's locked in place. And then you could basically do this. And you can throw that into your bag, put it in your side pouch, and you'd be good to go. This little device here is a guide, so whenever you get it set up correctly how you want it, you're supposed to lock it down. For me, one little complaint, it keeps coming undone. So unless I take a wrench and lock this, see, this doesn't stay. Unless you take something device and you wrench it down, it just comes loose. So that's one of the complaints that I have on this gimbal. Is all of this worth it when you can just get that? So price wise, where we're looking at $1,200 MSRP for the Sony RX 100 Mark 7, $269 for the gimbal here, or I think the latest price I saw on it was about $320 for the Osmo Mobile Pocket. When this thing fires up and boom, we're ready to rock and roll. One thing you get with the Crane is more modes for the gimbal. You have a vortex mode. You have the Go mode, which is a little bit faster, moving back and forth, because that's one thing about the Pocket, is that if you're filming something fast and you want to pan quick to catch it, you're not going to really get it. It's going to slowly pan to get back over. The Go mode is good for that. So if you're filming, again, like a soccer or sports on the sidelines, and you want to pan real quick, or you're filming your kids and they move through the yard really quickly and you want to get the action, this will work better for you. So it comes down to convenience and price, and how much better footage am I getting out of this versus that. If you are filming professionally, weddings, if you're filming for YouTube, if you want the best of both, because yes, this is just a gimbal and a great camera, which I can take off the camera and use that by itself all the time, put this back on the gimbal, and here we go for gimbal footage. This is a very small device, mainly used for the gimbal. This is going to be an all-in-one shot in your pocket. I would not use the Osmo Pocket for still footage. You'll get decent quality pictures, but I put them below the iPhone, and I put them well below the RX 100. And it should be. I mean, look at the size of that thing. Look at the size of the sensor and the RX. If that was beating that in image quality, then that's crazy, and that's physically not possible. When you start the crop in on the Pocket picture, you'll see it right away. You have to crop in a lot more on the RX 100 so you start seeing grain. And the A7 III, you have to crop in a lot more. So you get what you pay for when it comes to image quality. So it's you, the user. What are you looking to do with this stuff? So if you're at home trying to decide about, should I buy a big gimbal with a nice big camera? If you're on the go with a family traveling, this would be probably a pain in the ass, is to take all this with you and then break it out and hold on, let me balance everything, let me get it set, okay, we're good to go, and then walk through Disney World, and then get on the ride at Disney World after you've been through the line, put this all away really quickly in your bag to be on the ride. If you're at Disney, I'm just using Disney because that's where we like to go, and lots of people like to go to Disney World and like to make movies from there. The Osmo Pocket was perfect at Disney. You break it out, you film your footage as you walk down either Main Street or wherever. Going on rides, perfect one for roller coaster rides. FPV mode, very small, put it in your pocket. You can put it in your hand and almost hide it if they don't allow stuff in your hand for roller coaster rides. You can kind of hide it, and then when you start going up the track, you can just come out with this and start filming. Great little camera for roller coaster rides. Give you a cool first-person view type of feel. This, they never would allow you, and plus, as it jerks you left and right, back and forth, this thing's gonna freak out when the gimbal's gonna freak out and lock up. So if you're looking for something for roller coaster rides, Osmo Pocket. Stabilization turned off on the Sony camera itself, and we're just using the gimbal for stabilization here, and we're doing a little vlogging test. I have it on lock mode. As you can tell, it didn't follow me until I turn it. Pan follow is the best one to vlog with. Alright, no ND filter right now, just I do have the microphone set up. I'm trying to check the volume on it, looks pretty good. So after viewing the footage from both of these cameras, obviously the Sony does produce a better image, which it should, like we said. It's got a 1-inch sensor versus the Osmo. And in a second here, I'm gonna vlog with the Osmo just to show you. The Pocket does have the ability to self-track, so we'll actually move, it'll track your face, and if I move out of frame, it would follow me. This one has the ability to do that, but you have to have the cell phone set up for that. Alright, now I am vlogging on the Osmo Pocket. I'm trying to hold it over the microphone. I don't have a tripod, which is probably better to do to extend your reach on this thing to get a little bit further away from you. But so I'm kind of like arm extending. So this is what it looks like when you vlog with the Osmo Pocket and on active track. So I can go over here and it's going to follow me. I can go over here and it'll follow me. So that is a nice feature. You tell me if the video footage is on par with the Sony or a little bit less, and if that less is okay for you, then it's okay. We have no ND filter on right now. Bright sunshine outside, and it gives you, and I think it lost me already. So the active track is finicky. Now it's back on. So I'll kind of walk out of frame. There it goes. Now it's catching back up. Nice little feature when it works. So that's vlogging on the Osmo. Alright, so I've gone back and forth. I've talked about the Osmo, I've talked about this camera here and the setup and the gimbal. And for the price, $269, I looked around. I really couldn't find anything like from DJI that kind of compares with this. Ability to use cell phones, action cameras, point and shoots, and APS-C style cameras. It gives you that option down the road. So if you want to use it for your cell phone, you can do that. You can want to use it for your point and shoot with like the Sony, you can do that. But if you want to go a bit bigger, you have options. You can also pop this camera off anytime you want to and film that way. You don't, so just an extra added bonus. The Osmo Pocket is what you get is what you get. That's the camera, it's on it. That's what's stuck on there, and that's it. It's all in one package. Now, that you may make a good argument that you need both. You want this setup here for your big time stuff, and you want that one in your pocket when you do walk through the theme parks, that kind of thing. I think there's the more and more I get to use this gimbal and this setup here, the more and more I like it, and the more and more I want to add it to my filming. And is it a little bit more of a pain? Well, to get good stuff, sometimes you have to suffer a little bit of pain of extra gear in your bag to get better footage. It pays out later on. You may look silly when you film this stuff, but no one thinks you're silly once it's produced. Once they're watching it, they don't care how it was filmed, they just enjoy the footage. And that's what you need to think about when you film this stuff. But that's off topic. So I do want to recommend this gimbal. I do want to recommend this camera, the Sony RX 100. I'll do some later videos on that. But right now I'm happy with the gimbal. I'm happy with the setup. My feature that I really like about this is the locking feature, so I can keep it all the way it is now, lock it down, throw it in the bag, and go on. One thing I did learn that the little screw in that goes on the bottom of the camera to the plate is easy to lose. But on the side where I showed you before, you can add your accessories. Go ahead and take that and screw that right into the side of the gimbal. When you put it away, you won't lose it. Boom. But the better way to hold it is actually hold the control wheel like I'm doing now. That way your hands aren't on the microphone ports. Bright sunshine in and out. You can kind of tell when I watched the video before, the Sony handled the changing of the contrast a lot better with the bright sunshine, dark shade, switching in and out. You did see the contrast go up and down with the with this camera here. Alright, my dog wants to go back inside because she thinks it's hot. So on the way there, let's focus on the dog. What do you think about all this camera stuff? You don't like it. You don't like it at all. Alright, that's it. So if you have any other questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Stay active, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the next video.